Now to show you what's happening. This chase began in Baytown, and now we understand that they have made their way along the South Loop.
And it looks like Harris County Sheriff's, or rather HPD, is in pursuit of this vehicle right now. He appears to be traveling at a very high rate of speed. It's important to note that we are still in the middle of rush hour right now, and so you've got a lot of traffic there out on the roadways. We don't know what prompted police to start chasing this individual, but clearly he did not want to be stopped, and so this chase now has been going on for about the last 15 minutes or so is when we first learned of it.
And that traffic is really slowing down in the far right lane. Did you see that? I almost felt for a moment I had to catch my breath because I was afraid he was going to tail end that car. And now that they're going underneath the underpass or the overpass, we're going to have to wait just a moment to let Skyfox zoom out and try to find this person.
And so we believe that perhaps one, or if not more than one, of his tires has been disabled due to perhaps spike strips or something else, but he's still able to keep going, now getting back on to 610, it looks like.
And as we watch, he's moving over lanes now. I was really hoping just that he would stay over there and sort of stay out of the way of all the traffic, but just getting right in the center of it all now.
Yeah, he just passed the Stella Link exit, it looks like. So he's right here in Southwest Houston right now, headed back on to 610. It looks like he's picking up speed a little bit, but if you are just joining us earlier in this chase, he was going at a much faster rate of speed, and it looks like he perhaps has slowed down a bit, although he's still passing these cars, and given the fact that he may have a tire blown, he's going pretty fast.
Yeah, just moving right along. The wheels, the hubcaps, it seems like they're going along oddly, and now they're going fast. I don't know. It's almost like maybe they're fancy hubcaps, and that's throwing us off, the ones that spin.
Right. Oh, look, now the police officer is getting up very close to the vehicle, trying to see perhaps who's inside. There you go. He just clipped him at the end to try to get him to wreck out and
it's not
bring
doing any good so far.
No.
I'm thinking that officers may have been able to get in advance and stop the traffic, because look at this, they're not running into anybody.
Okay,
it looks like it may
stop got him
now.
to stop. Wow. So that was this pit maneuver that we've heard Chief Acevedo talk about, that he wants his officers to start using. As you see now, police officers pulling over and getting out of the car. They're going to approach this vehicle very carefully.
And this is where they're going to be telling him, put your hands up, get on the ground. They're going to be carefully watching every move that's made. And this is a situation that can be very dangerous, because if there are sudden moves, then we never know what is going to happen. But I did see another vehicle just drive past and keep going by, except to step out. And
you see a lot of movement there in the driver's seat. You can see he appears to be looking for something, or he's trying to put something away. It's unclear what he's doing in the driver's seat right now, but you can see him moving around quite a bit.
This concerns me, because I don't know if you saw it, but on the bottom right hand of your screen, the cars are going very slowly. And I just saw quite a few cars. Look, everyone's taking cell phone video. That is way too close for comfort. Now he's moving again. He took off and is moving again.
Wow.
And if I was on that other side, I would want to get out of there. I would not want to be anywhere close to this, because you don't know what is going to happen next. Gunfire could break out. It's just not a situation where you want to stop.
Yeah, that's a good point. So he moved up just a bit, and you wonder perhaps he moved up because police were telling him to move up. I don't know if that's true, but
he stopped again, so that does make you wonder if he wasn't taking action of what they were saying. And again, officers are just staying behind him. They're not moving up so that he can't move again. They're not going to risk their lives.
These officers have been highly trained. Okay, this is the third time now that he has decided to take off again, and you can see officers scrambling to get back in their police units to follow him.
This makes me think that that was not a direct command, or they would have been in their vehicles ready.
They would have known.
They seem surprised that he's moving again, and he's just moving a little bit, just moving a little. This is a very, very bizarre chase of all the ones we've ever covered. I don't remember seeing anything like this before.
Where they keep going after they had been pulled over. We've been wondering if the tires, if he's been driving on rims, because it looked like at some point he may have run over some spike strips and did cause some damage to the tires. And it still appears like he does have damage to those back tires.
And at this point, officers just slowly following along. It looks like he's going to be changing lanes now, and this is getting him closer to the drivers on the other side, and I'm sure that that's going to be making officers a little bit nervous, trying to figure out how are we going to protect everybody else in this what appears to be a very dangerous situation.
So again, this is the South Loop eastbound at Kirby. These lanes have been shut down after this chase appeared to have ended at one point, but is now back on at a very, very slow rate of speed. You can see a number of police units still following this driver very carefully, hoping that he'll decide to pull over again. Interestingly, he made his way across those lanes of traffic from the right lane back to the left lane, and there's a lot of rubbernecking going on there on the other side here of the South Loop.
And I just saw the interesting and bizarre movement inside that vehicle when our photographer and Sky Fox zoomed in just then. You couldn't tell if he was, it almost looked like he was nodding off or dancing or, I mean, it was just odd movement of the head and the body. It just seems so bizarre that, do you see that?
There is definitely
swaying
movement in there,
and there's it's very, very odd.
Yeah.
Holding for at least 30 minutes, perhaps 40. All started in Baytown. Now we are all on the South Loop at Fannin, and quite a few cars in this area. So you're talking about an area where people are trying to get into the Texas Medical Center.
Yep.
And you see again, all the officers stopped. They're getting back into position, and it looks like his door opened again, and he shut it again.
So this is the fourth time, I believe, that he's now stopped. Each time he has not opened the door. He has not gotten out. We don't know if there's been any communication. Perhaps somebody has his cell phone and they've been able to call him. We don't know of any communication.
Here we go again.
And now he's moving again. This is very odd. You're right. I've never seen anything like this.
Door is opening more than most it's been. And it looks like he's about to get out. It looks like he's about to step out of this vehicle again along the South Loop at Fannin Street. And here we go again. He's taking off. I mean, just eluding police. They don't know what to think. They don't know if they should stay in their vehicles, get out. All I know is they're doing a great job of stopping all the traffic, trying to keep everybody safe. Seems like they've done a good job of getting in advance of this and just getting traffic out of there as quickly as they can.
Yeah, as Melissa said, this chase has been going on for about 30 to 40 minutes right through rush hour traffic around Houston, and that left rear tire did appear to be blown out. You could see smoke at one point coming from it, and so that's what's caused this chase to go from what was at one point a very high-speed chase to now a very low stop-and-go chase.
I want to bring attention to the bottom right hand of your screen, and I want to remind you why it's so important when you see stop traffic like this. So many times you'll see people go into the medians because maybe they're frustrated and they have to be somewhere. There is an officer on a motorcycle risking his life to try to protect those drivers in case this guy does walk over that wall and try to get to some of them. So he is on this side now, and that's why it's so important when traffic is slowing down to not pass that yellow lane and to know that there could be emergency vehicles there. And obviously he's doing that to try to protect these people. I have a feeling that they're very concerned that he could try to jump that wall and get into somebody else's vehicle. And it would be hard at that point for them to be able to shoot because there are too many vehicles there to be able to pull that off. It would be tough.
That shows you why these chases are so incredibly dangerous, because they often involve innocent people and putting lives of innocent people at risk. You can see there he did. Okay, now you get the best look here of the tire.
And it is shredded.
How shredded it is, yeah. Okay, now he's doing a U-turn and appears to want to go the opposite direction now. With
right into them. Driving straight into them.
Oh, my goodness.
This is something else. And now he's changed his mind and he's going to back up for a little while.
Wow. Yeah, it did appear like he was trying to get over to that other side so he could perhaps hop the wall. He realized, no, there's an officer there. This is not going to work.
And now that he has done almost the 360, we've gotten a good look at all those tires. It looked from that vantage point that only that left back tire is blown. It looks like all the other ones are okay. Nevertheless, enough damage to really keep him slowed down and not be able to zoom off.
Right. Where does he think he's going to go? I mean, you just wonder what these people are thinking when they lead police on these types of chases when you've got so many odds getting out. This is the first time we've seen him get out of the vehicle. I see a foot on the ground,
and we have not seen that at this point. It doesn't look like he's doing what they would be telling him to, which I would assume hands up and on the ground. It looks like he's almost getting something out of the back seat, doesn't it? I just see movement with feet on the ground.
There's definitely a lot of movement
on the ground.
He needs to have his hands up. He needs to be following their commands to a T in order for this to end the way officers want it to end.
Getting back in.
He just closed the door again, and we expect to see him take off again like we've been watching him do the past.
And there you go.
Yeah, for the past 30 minutes or so, he's just been in and, or rather stopping and going for the past 20 minutes or so here. But that was the first time where we've seen him open his car door as he was stopped and actually put a foot on the ground.
Versus a little bit wider shot where you can figure out exactly where he is. If you have to head to this area, please find an alternate route for a little while. It doesn't look like this is going to end anytime soon. It looks like he's almost pulling over again.
It looks like he had pulled over and came to a stop once again.
Opening the door again. This is probably the 6th time perhaps by now.
At least 6th or 7th. And you don't see in this shot, but when a Skyfox pulls out, or rather you can see it on the TransStar cameras, those police units are keeping a safe distance, but they are right there and watching his every move very closely. All right, the vehicle is moving once again now. So each time officers jump out of their vehicles, weapons drawn, and then you see them run back to their units once he starts driving again to keep following this guy, as they have tried multiple things now. Okay, you just see a police unit there race by on the dirt road there trying to get ahead. Here comes another one. Do those look like Baytown police units, I believe?
It looks like, it didn't look like HPD, I believe they are. So you've got multiple law enforcement agencies out here trying to make this come to an end as quickly as they can. And it's been going on perhaps over an hour at this point.
We have had a lot of police chases in Houston, and I'm sure many of you at home have watched a lot of them unfold, but this is definitely one of the stranger, more bizarre chases, given the amount of stops that this driver has made, the amount of time that he has spent driving at such a...
Our vehicle's right there parked next to him that looks like probably with the city.
Okay, but now this is the first time we've seen a police officer get in front of him and actually ram the back of his vehicle. Officers are getting out, getting in position, getting their weapons. They've blocked him in now. This is the first time that we've actually seen him blocked in, where he will not be able to drive off again.
This is over. They are not going to be able to get, he is not going to be able to drive out of it this time. You see a canine unit there. You see officers in every direction now. And again, I'm sure barking the orders, telling him to step out immediately. And it looks like at least this officer on the bottom of your screen has that concrete barrier to protect himself, because he can be on this side of it all and try to protect his fellow officers if there were to be some type of shootout.
These are some very brave men and women you're looking at right now. That officer who got in front of that vehicle did so quickly. You saw him run back to his own car for cover. They typically take cover behind the doors of their vehicles, and you can see the SWAT officers wearing the shorts down there in the dirt, taking cover behind that concrete pillar there. They are no doubt barking orders right now as you see another officer running for backup there, trying to get this guy to come out of his car. And what he might be thinking, what he's doing, you can see movement once again in the driver's seat. We just don't know.
And you saw the canine, the officer in the back there behind the black vehicle, just one behind him, and just so anxious to go to work. I mean, it almost seemed like for a moment they were having to hold him back. Everyone and everything is ready for this situation. The driver at this point does not seem to be moving at all. I've not seen that door even crack open like we saw him doing so many times before. And obviously not following any orders that he might be getting at this point. And I'm sure he is getting plenty to step out and to get on, put feet and then body on the ground.
Right. He needs to step out, hands up, do exactly what officers are telling him to do. Again, if you're just joining us, these are the northbound lanes of 288 near Holcomb, where for the first time in more than an hour, we believe that this chase has finally come to an end, but we are waiting for the driver to surrender. He has stopped on and off throughout this hour-long chase, but he has not come out of his vehicle yet. He is given every indication that he does not is not willing to give up easily. And so now it is again a waiting game, but this time for officers, they're outside their vehicles waiting for him to come out.
And they were ready. If you take a look at the left side of your screen, you see the SWAT vehicle pulling up, and we saw the officers jump out of that a moment ago. That's the first time we've seen that. You know, it's been ready and waiting for this moment, and they were there, and they have finally got this situation at a standstill. Now is anybody's guess what is going to happen at this point. An officer we saw risk his life by pulling up in front of that vehicle, not knowing what was going to happen. But that particular officer in front of this driver's car was the one who was able to say, this car is not going anywhere else. You are at a standstill, and we are going to try to finally take full control of this situation.
Yeah, because this has gone on for so long, you've been able to get a lot of resources in place. So you see the Houston police big SWAT vehicle there. That's something that we don't typically see on chase scenes, but because this has gone on for so long, you've been able to get a number of different resources in place, and hoping that they can get this guy in custody very, very soon. Again, if you're just joining us here at 9:18 this morning, this originated in Baytown. We do not know why police were chasing this person, if there was some sort of a 911 call involving a crime that he had committed, or whether this was a traffic stop that was initiated by police and he did not stop. We're not sure yet, but for whatever reason, it was a felony stop, and they were trying to take him into custody for something serious when he decided that he was not going to stop and obey the law, and that is what's led to this police chase all through Baytown and then to Houston, where he went past NRG Stadium. He took the 288 flyover, and now he has come to a stop here at 288, the northbound lanes at Holcomb.
You have SWAT team members on the other side of the concrete pillar waiting to see what's going to happen, ready to pounce if in action we see other officers running from that SWAT vehicle over to the vehicle in front. And I'm not seeing much movement inside of the vehicle where the suspect is. It looks like the driver's just sitting there, not making any looks like moves to roll down the window. It doesn't look like he's having any conversation with them. Now, when we first started watching this, when it all started unfolding, it seemed like all the officers had guns drawn, and at this point they don't. So hard to understand what's going on there, but I'm seeing them stand down almost at this point.
And you've seen them too take different positions. There was just a kind of a frantic rush of officers moving. Okay, look,
he's moving. What is going on? No, this cannot be.
No,
this cannot be.
Come on, and just about on his rims.
It looks like officers are being a little more aggressive this time.
They're definitely being more aggressive. It looks like trying to attempt another pit maneuver here to get him to stop.
And now again, we are getting closer to downtown and closer to what is going to be more of a traffic nightmare. So officers are really having to probably move ahead, get in advance, and try to get that traffic at a standstill.
This is right at 288 and McGregor now. So you're right near the zoo, near the museums. All right, he's taking an exit, and Houston police just rammed him again. All right, now he's still trying to go. That was another one of those pit maneuvers, the second one at least that officers have used in this chase. That's the bomb squad getting out of that white truck right now. You can see officers once again, this is at least the 5th or 6th time they've gotten out of their vehicle and have taken cover, weapons drawn, trying to get this driver out.
And he's getting out. The door is opening now for the first time since
and it closed again. It closed again. It looks like he might. Oh, I thought that was his head out the window, but I don't believe so.
If you take a look at this situation now with officers in front of him and the way that he's penned, and this will hopefully be the last time that he is able to maneuver that vehicle out, because this time guns are drawn and they are not standing down this time. They are ready for him to get out and for this to be over. We do not know what started this in the first place. All we are told is that it was considered to be a felony stop. We would assume that would be considered to be a serious crime, perhaps, that was performed before all of this started, about an hour and a half ago. Officers have done everything they can to put this to an end. He has eluded them over and over again with trick moves, and it's just been one surprise after another with this guy.
This is the McGregor exit right now, the northbound lanes of 288. He tried to take that McGregor exit. We saw this end for what would you say now, Melissa, the 10th time
Probably.
with another pit maneuver by Houston police. And it looks like now he's pinned right between a police car and a bomb squad unit. It doesn't appear that he can go anywhere now. But again, we said that the last time, and he proved us wrong. He's continued to outsmart in terms of trying to get away. Okay, now the driver's side, and it closed again. And we've seen that over and over throughout this chase. They're getting closer to him right now.
And the dog is...
And it looks like they're approaching the vehicle. They're opening the door. And they're taking him out.
He is on the ground. This is...
And it looks like they're handcuffing him right now. There's a number of SWAT officers and the bomb squad right there to take him down.
And it looks like they're pulling the canine officer away because he is barking, and he is just ready to help them out and just ready to take his job very seriously, and is taking his job seriously. And now it looks like they have him in handcuffs, and they are pulling him away, and they have to be asking so many questions now. We have so many questions to ask about what happened and who this guy